It's Saturday, November 22nd, and we're expecting widespread thunderstorms today across the southern United States. You can see that this light shaded region, which is indicating that just regular risk for some general thunderstorms, pretty much highlights the entire southern US except for southern California and southern Florida. Now, this is not going to be for any severe weather, and it does look pretty conditional, so you might not even see that much, even if you're in this green shaded area. And this is kind of what I mean. This is what it might look like across the US today. For our reflectivity, we can see that just we're going to have a stationary front kind of moving all the way through parts of southern Texas, all the way up through the southeast to parts of southern Virginia as well, kind of like this. And we're just going to see that as we go through the day, even starting in the very early morning, there's just a very conditional chance that we might get some thunderstorms in front of that. And obviously on here, they don't look that robust. So that's going to just be because the ingredients in front of this are not going to be that strong, and these aren't really that potent of a batch of front. So they're pretty slow moving, and it looks like stationary. So maybe a couple of thunderstorms, but as we go into the day, probably after lunchtime, you're just going to be seeing some localized showers right up against those fronts. Now, I think the area which might be in for a bit more of a strong threat of some thunderstorms is going to be out here, out in the Four Corner states. Actually, it looks like mostly Arizona is going to get the brunt of it today, and that's going to be because we have a low pressure system with quite a bit of forcing actually that's going to move kind of northeastward as we go through the day. You'll see that right there, and probably right around nightfall, also aided by the low level jet and some frontal activity, we might get a batch of some pretty strong thunderstorms potentially in parts of eastern Arizona. Nothing severe though, just maybe some gusty winds and of course lightning and heavy rain. It looks like this is actually going to develop quite a bit more as we go into the night, with our coverage of precipitation becoming quite a bit more widespread, almost covering the entire eastern portion of Arizona at that point. And then as we move into tomorrow, this could actually bring a decent bit of snow even to the general Colorado Plateau and then the far western Rockies. So yeah, this is something that could bring quite a bit of snow. Even will probably bring some severe weather to parts of Texas tomorrow as well, but just more general precip and a greater thunderstorm risk if you're down here in the Four Corner states, specifically the Southwest. And this is just a better look at the jet stream, kind of causing what we were just talking about here is that central low pressure system for kind of this trough moving in parts of the Southwest. And as this ejects, we're just going to get more flow, more forcing, more thunderstorms. Pretty simple as that. And then we can just see that we have a general area of westerly flow that's kind of kinked up. And also you might notice that this is shaped also similarly to our stationary fronts that we're expecting. And also we can see that there's a bit more forcing out here in parts even close to the mid-Atlantic, even in the southeast in the earlier parts of the day today. So one of the reasons why we might see more thunderstorms in the morning, then it would just taper off into some localized showers directly along that stationary front. But that's pretty much it. And then as this guy ejects, I think this is going to be by far the more potent system to watch out of what's going on in the US as this guy ejects as we go into tomorrow. Maybe we get a threat for some severe thunderstorms in parts of western Texas, and as we go later into the day, maybe even up towards the OKC metro and downtown areas. But for now, looks like could bring some snow up to the Colorado Plateau, western Colorado as well, and then just a general thunderstorm threat with this forcing, then also frontal activity going on, probably causing a couple of troughs, aka just areas of rising air that kind of look like a line, almost a linear in nature as well. And that's probably what we're just going to see out there today, with that threat ramping up in the afternoon to evening hours. And switching gears from weather entirely and looking more on the temperature side, some more on a climate look, it looks like the temperatures are actually going to be pretty nice. Not really anywhere that's too hot, too cold, unless of course you are in the far southern United States. So that's going to be, if I were to draw a line which almost perfectly encapsulates the Gulf Coast and Southeast, that looks like you're going to be seeing the hottest temperatures out of the country today. Pretty much the only area where I would consider the temperatures not, aka nice, I guess you would say, for November. So you're going to be seeing more of a heat index in the low 80s and high 70s. Not super favorable, but not all that terrible. But for the rest of the country, pretty good news here. If you're out west, kind of more in the mountainous regions, looks like you're going to be seeing a lot of low 50s, mid 40s heat index. Also up here in the northeast and probably more eastern parts of the Midwest as well. Now, another area that's still going to be pretty nice, I would say, but not super cold is going to be the Great Plains. Probably expecting to see some low 60s heat indexes as well. Now, as we go into tonight, we're actually not going to see that big of a cool down, although it is going to get pretty cold in a couple of areas, specifically the mountains out west. If you're anywhere in the mountains out west, expect to get some feels like freezing temperatures. Then, of course, the northeast as well. The northeast has pretty much remained cold through November so far. Let's see if that continues. And also a little sliver up here in parts of the northern Midwest as well. But everywhere that's not in the deep south, and then also on the Atlantic coast in the south, so all the way up into Virginia, you're probably going to see more in this area a lot of mid 40s to low 50s heat indexes as we go through the night. And then everywhere else in Florida and Texas and such, probably just going to get down to the mid 60s to high 60s feels like temperatures as well. So pretty nice weather in my opinion. And let's see if this continues or if we'll get another cold snap pretty soon.